Hey, it's MK, and I am here for a Messy Monday layout for you guys today, and we are still playing along with texture paste for the month of June, and I'm also playing along with the Off the Board, and today is Mood Board Monday, so I picked these hairpins for my mood board, and then also too I brought in pieces from my June counterfeit kit, and I'm also playing along with some new shimmer relief paste from Altenew. I'm going to leave a link down below if you guys are interested in this paste. There is a learning curve to it, but I'm also bringing in the Brown Dahlia from the Paper Glaze, and I wanted to try something. The paste that I picked out dried way too fast for this technique that I wanted to try, so it was a total flop. I'm not going to really go into it, but I do want to try it out later, and I've got one more Monday, so I'm going to bring this technique back, even though this one totally bombs, right? It does not work at all. So I've got 3 little photos. I have stamps that, like I said, it doesn't work. And then I have a stencil. I've got these little So Sophie punch outs. I also have a couple of cut apart pieces from the No Waste packaging from 49 and Market. And then just a bunch of leftover bits and bobs. I don't even know where to start to show you guys because they're all over the place. I have some chipboard pieces that I never got around to from my counterfeit kit that are just these amazing tree rings. And then I have some single leaves that I picked out from, I want to say, I know it's one of the laser cut pieces, but I can't remember if it was the Crafty Garden one or the Nature Study one that I had left over. I'm not really sure, but they're all the individual pieces. Probably not all of them, but they might be all of them. I have no idea. And then I have these leftover chipboard pieces that I painted from a layout last month. I just went ahead and I painted or inked, actually, this is all ink, not paint, all the chipboard pieces from that one chipboard set, as opposed to just doing the pieces that I thought I was going to use. This makes it much easier for me to just grab and go instead of having to pull out all my inks and paints and things like that every time I wanted to do a piece of chipboard. I have these really cool metal leaves that came in one of my advent calendars. I believe it was 2023, and I have just these 3 left over, a couple laser cut butterflies, as well as some chipboard words and whatnot. The chipboard word that says nature is calling is actually from P13, and then I have the chipboard word that is from the Nature Study 49 and Market collection. My little paper clip here that has a tree ring on it was my thank you gift from last year's advent calendar. I was trying out wax seals on a paper clip. I have these leftover little net pieces from a card class that I did again last month, and then a flare from Scrappin' Happy Studio. I'm so sorry, I butcher that every time. And then of course the film strip is also from Nature Study, and then scraps. I have all of these scraps of paper. These all came from my Kit Conspiracy kit, from my counterfeit kit. I cut up this wood piece to use it in a layout. I cut out clouds from this, industrial looking piece. I really like the other side of it as well. I hope I get another one of these pieces of paper because this was pretty awesome. And then this floral piece was also left over. So this is all of my scraps that I had just laying here for a layout. So I thought, okay, perfect timing. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can use. There's orange in here. There is that rusty color in the wood grain. It leans a little bit more on the pink side. And then I've got the leaves. I've got all the things, you guys. And then a little bit of blue as well. So hopefully I can pull this together. I do have to tell you guys the orange does end up disappearing. I forget about the mood board and I definitely just realize that the orange kind of clashes and I don't like it, and I totally remove it. So I just stick with the rust and the blue on my layout, just to let you know. Spoiler alert, I guess. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off my branding strip, and this is going to be the back piece of my layout. It's just this awesome Wonderlust paper. I only bought the background papers, or the solids, I guess is what they're called, because I really didn't like the pattern papers of that Wanderlust Adventure collection. There was a lot of blocky, here's where your photo goes papers, and I'm not into those as much. So I only bought the solids, and I have been loving them enough to where I ended up buying another one because they're just me. They're perfect for any day, any layout, a great background, great colors for me. They're not super bright, but they're not super dark. I think they're perfect. Okay, so this little piece of corrugated cardstock, I painted it with texture paste many, many moons ago. I couldn't even tell you when. I want to say last year sometime. Who knows? But I finally am getting it used up. I just couldn't throw it away. I don't know why. I definitely could have thrown it away, but I just couldn't. It was there. And then I'm going to try to stack my logs or my wood grain pieces. I call them logs because that's what they look like, to where I get the most out of all of this texture etched in look on the wood grain. I don't know what it is. This is a paper phenomenon paper back when she was doing physical papers. I think she just does digital now. I don't know. I haven't really looked into what she is doing, but it's by Kathy Orta King. She does a ton of mini album, mini folios, mini albums, mini books, and she builds them from scratch, like all the way from the hinge all the way down to the closure. It is fabulous what she does, and she created a paper line, or creates paper lines, not just one, multiple. That one, they don't last very long, so you got to get them when they're available. But she used to print them. I don't know if she still does. So far, when I looked last, it was all digital, but it could also be because I was in between collections, and that's all that's left are the digitals. But she's got, she prints these or makes these so that way they are just collagey enough to be put in mini albums. And then, of course, they're 12 by 12, so you can use them in your regular scrapbooks as well. And I've got a couple of her collections. I think I have 3 of her collections, and I've really been hoarding them, in all honesty. And I told you guys, I don't hoard. I really don't. But I'm very decisive when I choose to use her papers because of the fact that they're just so special, and they're just so unique to the scrapbooking industry because she built them with mini albums in mind, right? So that way you could take one teeny tiny itty bitty little strip, like a 1/4 of an inch strip, to have peeking out of one of her layers, and it still have that much interest that it makes you want to keep turning the page. That's how her papers are all of her papers are set up and designed and whatnot. And so anyways, just go check her out, Kathy Orta King, and she is also Paper Phenomenon. She used to do a ton of tutorials on YouTube, you guys, but I have not had a chance to even go check out. I just checked out her website, which is paperphenomenon.com, in case you guys are curious. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to use up this netting. Now, this net is oh golly, I don't even remember. It's a dye, obviously, and I do not remember who the manufacturer is. I want to say it was All in Create, if I'm being honest, but I don't remember, so I will have to go back and take a look, because now I'm second guessing myself that it is not All in Create. And for my card class, I only ended up using the 2 corners, and then I had this great effect left over, and I couldn't throw them away, or honestly, I couldn't give them away either. How rude. But I do love how I've been able to incorporate them in several layouts and still get them to look different. I have inked them. I have sprayed them. I have left them the same, left them alone. You can flip them because I cut them out of Close to My Heart's 2-tone cardstock. I am going to start saying Stampin' Up's 2-tone cardstock soon, but I have an abundance of Close to My Heart 2-tone cardstock that right now, while it's close to my heart's, I'm going to say that it's close to my heart's. But Stampin' Up took over Close to My Heart's, or adopted Close to My Heart's 2-toned cardstock, and they are making it. It is beautiful. It is great quality. I am so excited that they kept it. I hope it stays around for many years to come, because normally when companies buy things like that, they stay for a little bit, and then they realize, no, people aren't really into them, and then they disappear. But with Stampin' Up's outreach, I think they'll become more popular than when they were with Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart was kind of close-knit, right? You mentioned Close to My Heart and people would be like, who's that? Yeah. That's how close-knit Close to My Heart was. And when you say Stampin' Up, everybody knows Stampin' Up. And so anyways, I just feel like the two-tone cardstock is just going to be booming for them because of their outreach on people. Many, many people know them a lot more than they did with the Close to My Heart family. And so, yeah, I definitely will start saying Stampin' Up as soon as I run out of Close to My Heart. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of blue here and there. I do end up discarding the orange. I apologize. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that that was the reason why I brought it in the first place, was because of my mood board. I completely forgot because I got so excited to try this new technique and fail at it, which is, that's why we try things, right? So this shimmer paste is brand new to me. Now this is called Shimmer Relief Paste, and it is brand new to me. I am still not familiar with all the things you can do with it, but they do suggest, and clearly I don't follow suggestions, they do suggest that you wear gloves when using this type of texture paste. I will look into why that is, but everybody that I have seen use this, they wear some sort of latex gloves or latex-free gloves, but you know what I mean, the really thin surgical gloves or food-grade gloves or whatever type of gloves. And so, yeah. I didn't because I assumed it was going to be super quick, super easy. I'm just going to go ahead and slap it through this stencil from Arden Creative and be done. And it does dry super fast, so I had to clean my stencil right then and there. I didn't even have enough time to walk it to a sink. So I just wanted to get it off of my tool. I wanted to get it off of my stencil and keep playing, right? Because I was super excited to try this next technique. Now, I know the reason why this technique did not work is because I chose the fastest drying texture paste I own. Seriously, this stuff, once you put it on, bam, it's dry. And so I was trying to be super fast about it, and then I was going to pull out these stencils, which I should have had them already. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to put a texture in my texture paste using stamps. That is what I wanted to do. And as you can see, I failed miserably to the point where I ripped my paper. Look at that. I got a big old hole in my paper. So let's cover that up. It looks like poo. I honestly don't like it. I'm mad at myself because now I'm just, what do I do? It's so far down the page. I bring my picture back in and oh my gosh, the embellishment's going to just have to like flow all the way down to the bottom of the page. I did not want that. I was very disappointed, you guys. But it was something that I wanted to try. I've been wanting to try for a while now. And I tried it, right? I just chose the wrong product to try it with. That is on me. So I do have one more Monday that I still want to try this technique with. And after that, we will see what, if I like the technique or if it is a total bomb, and don't try ruining your stamps using your texture paste. I don't know these answers yet, but I'm going to find out. So anyways, while that dries and while I contemplate on life and whether or not I just ruined my background, I am going to go ahead and ink up not all, 3 of my tree rings. And when I first started inking, I thought, oh my gosh, I used the wrong brown. Like, this brown is way too dark. I can't get it to lighten up. I don't like it. I can't get the ring dark enough. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep going because that's what I do. And I didn't want to go get a different ink because then I would be outside of my kit, right? This is the inks that I had on my desk for my counterfeit kit, and I need to play with what I have. And so then I also thought that it might dry lighter, right? Because that's maybe what it might do. It might not because of the fact that it's oxide too, but I didn't realize that at the time. I was just telling myself to keep going. Okay, so now that my background is all dry, I go ahead and I put my photo cluster back down. I also too love building my photo cluster outside of my layout and then having that whole piece put down. I feel like it's just, oh yay, look how much is completed already. And I feel like I didn't do anything even though I did it, maybe an hour ago. Who knows? So I knew I wanted my title, which is just the word explore, up at the top inside my dead space in the sky. Yeah, that sounds like a song. And then I have nature is calling. So it says nature is calling, explore. I was debating whether to say go explore or something like that, make it one complete sentence. But honestly, your brain almost fills in the blank automatically. So you really don't need that, those tiny words, right? The two-letter words, the, and a is not a two-letter word, and neither is the. Oh, my stars. Somebody needs to get me some coffee. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I just really feel like they're implied words. And so for this one, yeah, nature is calling, explore. That worked for me. Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and build up my title cluster. I almost knew exactly how I wanted it to look. And so that's where I started. Normally what I do is I divide and conquer. I actually take all of my pieces, put them where I feel like those are where my clusters are supposed to go, and fill in the blanks and yada, yada, yada. But this one, all I knew was where my title was going to go. I had no clue where the rest of my embellishments are going to go. What do I want to cover up? And how much? Do I want 2 clusters? I know I have a disaster down in the bottom right-hand corner that I need to fix, but I'm still trying to figure out how. I don't want my embellishments, I'm whining at this point. I don't want my embellishments to be down that far. Okay, but I do have to get them down that far. I have to figure something out. So when I don't know what to do, I always go to what I know I want to do, right? That is one of the things that I've always said is if you don't know what to do, then take a break and do what you want to do, right? Whether it is finish the layout or go and, pet your puppy or go make a drink, something, right? Do something that you want to do. Don't force yourself to do something you don't want to do, right? Come back to it. And then it'll all of a sudden be like 2:00 in the morning. I know exactly what I want to do. And then you go back to it. Just don't do it at 2:00 in the morning. Your family might not like that. Okay, so here I am moving on to my next cluster. I had this little tuft of florals that I wanted somewhere, but I didn't want them to be too tall. I didn't want to have to cut them. I didn't know. So they were perfect over on this left-hand side, right above my photos. I think they blend in very well, and it was almost like it was meant to be. I have another little tuft of grass that is going to help me bring in this flare right here. And when you get these epoxy flares, it does say on the package to not use liquid adhesive on those flares. You want to use the a glue dot of some sort or a foam dot if you want it to pop up, things like that. You want to use a dry adhesive. Even your tape gun holds them down depending on what you are applying it to. My layouts have a lot of lump and bump, and so I definitely don't have enough give for the tape runner. So I have to use something, and I always use glue dots. I just have always been a glue dot fan. I've also been a dimensional fan, a Stampin' Up! Dimensional fan. I tried to get on the bandwagon, and I do every now and then with the foam sheets, especially when I'm trying to pop up my photos. The foam is perfect for the photos because I feel like I use so many dimensionals, and then my photos end up waving because they have dips and valleys and things like that inside them. But when I use the foam behind the photo, it's just absolutely perfect. I absolutely love it. I just don't like using it on every tiny little thing because of how much adhesive you have to use just to use your foam. So I'm a big fan of the dimensionals when it comes to smaller pieces. Okay, so I finally figured out how to make my embellishment go down into that right-hand corner that isn't too far. I got the main objective covered. There is still a little bit of a hot mess, but with everything that I add to this little cluster and how it all falls into place, it's almost like it was supposed to look like that. I just covered up the worst of it, and it worked out really well. It didn't have to go down as far as I thought it did, the cluster, so I was really super excited about that. Now I'm just going to add a few extra little leaves. I've got 2, maybe 3 little tiny pieces left. I love these little the additions of the metal leaves. I did end up curling up all of the edges of them. This last little leaf though, yeah, it doesn't make it. One leaf, and I couldn't find a home for it. It's okay. But I do end up curling up the ends of the leaves. Not that that will matter for right now. It makes me happy. And then, of course, I did end up curling up the metal leaves as well because they were nice and flexible. All right, you guys, so that is my layout for today and playing along with pastes, trying to come up with a new technique using pastes. But again, I just have to find the right paste for specific techniques. I already knew. I knew, you guys, that the paper glaze was going to dry way too fast. That's why we like it, because there's hardly any drying time. But who knows what I was thinking? Probably because I was excited that I got to use brown. I don't know. All right, don't forget to check out all the links that I have down below for you guys. I've got a link for Messy Mondays videos that I have done in the past, as well as the Off the Board playlist. And then, of course, I have all the links of the counterfeit girls that played in June, because that was what this kit is from, is June's kit. And everybody's kit is very similar. Back then, if you try to look for July's kit, it's kind of different because they do a different counterfeit every month. So it's super fun. All right, you guys, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it. And I will check you guys all later. Bye.